Okay, the sauce has been cooking for about 15 minutes, and I put it on a really low heat because right now you just want the flavors to absorb. You don't really want to boil out the sauce, otherwise it'll burn and it won't be good for the pasta. So we're just gonna let this cook for about another 15 minutes and the sauce should be totally done. In the meantime, now that your sausage is fully cooled, you can go ahead and bag it and put it in the refrigerator for the time being, which I'll do in a few minutes. I did get my shells. Now, if you're doing shells from scratch, that's terrific. I will do a video at some point on fresh pasta. I'm taking the easy way out, and I'm just using a box of shells. I'm using both the jumbo shells as well as the manicotti. Now, these do need to be boiled, and we're going to do them in two separate pots. We're going to do one for the manicotti and one for the shells. When you boil pasta, you do not want to cook them all the way through. So if your box of pastas, and I'm going to use the shells, it says bring 4 to 6 quarts of water to a boil, salt to taste, add pasta to boil water. For pre-baked cooking time, boil uncovered for 9 minutes, stirring occasionally, or to boil and serve with boil uncover for 12 minutes. You don't want to go the full 12 minutes with your pasta. You do not want your pasta to be fully cooked because it will bake. It will cook more when it's in the oven. So, you just want to pre-boil them. And we're going to do that in a little bit. At the same token, you're going to want to get your baking sheets done. And I have 2 different size baking sheets. I have a small one and a little one, and I'm going to go grab those. And you guys have seen these before. They're just like this. I'm probably going to do the small one for the shells and the big one for the manicotti for tonight, because I'm going to freeze the jumbo shells. So I'm probably not going to make the entire box of shells. I'm only going to make half of the shells. I will be making the full box of manicotti though. And the ingredients for the manicotti that you're going to need is you're going to need ricotta cheese, you're going to need Parmesan cheese, and fresh mozzarella. I use a Parmesan Romano cheese that are 2 cheeses blended into one as the topping. And then I'll use the mozzarella as well as the ricotta for both the shells and the manicotti when I make it. So I'm just going to wash my hands. I'm going to go ahead and put away my Italian sausage because, like I said, you're not going to need that right now. That's going to be when you start assembling your shells and stuff. And we're going to do that a little bit later. My onion unfortunately ripped, so let me clean off my countertop a little bit. Watch out, guys. And I'm going to get a container. And I'm just going to put my Italian sausage in this container. And I'm going to pop this in the refrigerator. Now, there was a little bit more grease on this than met the eye, but it's not enough that's going to cause a problem. It should all fit. Yep, there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in the refrigerator right now. We're not gonna use it. I'm also leaving the cheeses alone in the refrigerator. So I'll open this up and you can see I have the 5 pounds of ricotta right here. And then I have my parsley right here. We're going to deal with that once the pasta has been cooked and we start assembling things, which we'll be doing in a little bit. Now, I'm going to go off topic, or we're still cooking, but for those of you that have never worked with cast iron, cleaning it can be tricky. And what I normally do with my cast iron is I'll take a paper towel. I'll take my silicone sleeve off because my cast iron is fully cool. And I'll just wipe it out. You really don't need to do a lot to your cast iron. You can go ahead and rinse it and put a little bit of soap in it. Especially if you do meat. You just don't want to use any abrasive or harsh chemicals in your cast iron. And you want to make sure that your cast iron is very dry when you're done. And it's very easy to dry a cast iron. You can obviously use a towel, but what most people will do is they'll put it on the stove and they'll just let it heat up naturally. And that's all you really need to do to care for your cast iron. Now, if you do use a little soap, what I always do is I'll put a little bit of oil back into the cast iron. I'm just using my olive oil. And I'm going to use a paper towel and I'm just going to wipe the sides to give it that shiny blackness. And that's all you need to do to keep your cast iron looking good and using it. And then once it's heated enough, you just are going to shut off the heat and let it cool down like it normally would. And that's all you need to do. Your cast iron is going to look brand new like that, and that's all she needs to do. And it's ready for use for the next time. So, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. I'm going to let the pasta or the sauce just heat all the way through and absorb all of the spices that we put in it. You could put a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes in it if you want a little heat. I'm not going to do that because you don't really want a lot of heat in your shells. And since I'm using the sauce for both the shells and the manicotti, I don't need to add any heat. But if you want a little bit of a kick to your sauce, you can certainly go ahead and add a little bit of red pepper. But that part's optional. So, I'll be back in a while to show you what we are going to do when it comes to the filling, assembling the whole thing, baking it, and then making our garlic bread. So stay tuned. Okay, it's been a half an hour. The sauce is all cooked. I have it off of the flame, or I turn the flame off, and I'm going to put the sauce off to the back. You don't need the sauce to be hot when you put it on your manicotti or your jumbo shells. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the pasta ready. And unfortunately, when I did the sauce, I used the large one that I would normally use for pasta. So I'm going to get set up for the shells and the manicotti. Bye, Mike. She's still outside.
I know.
Oh. So is Lacey. Sorry, my dogs are outside with my husband. And I just looked at the garden today, and I'm not going to do a separate gardening with Joel today just because the air quality is so bad, but I have 9 tomatoes that are now coming in. My zucchini is definitely blooming. The squash looks like it's about ready to start producing its flowers, and my cucumbers are getting bigger. So that was just a quick update on the garden. Okay, and we're definitely gonna put hot water in both pots for the manicotti as well as the jumbo shells. And you're definitely going to want a colander. You're going to need something to drain the pasta. You're also going to want to run cold water over the pasta to get it to quit cooking. You don't want to overcook your pasta before it goes into the oven. And I've got our first pot that I'm going to put, I'm going to move that off to the side a little bit. And let that come to a boil. I'm going to get our second one going. And if you don't have room on your stovetop, like my pots are pretty big, I'm just going to move the sauce and put it directly on a wooden cutting board. And that's fine. It can do that. So I've got this pot, and I'll turn you guys over. This is about filled halfway with water. And that's fine. I'm going to do the shells in this one. I'm going to do the manicotti in the big one that's currently being filled with water. Like I said, with the shells, I'm probably not going to cook them all. I'm going to see how many shells are in here and then determine how many I want to cook. And you're just going to let both of these come to a full boil before you add any salt to the water. And you're going to want to add about a good teaspoon to a tablespoon of salt per thing with your pasta. And then this one I'm going to put in the back. Well, actually, no, I'm going to put this one. Sometimes the first one lights and sometimes it doesn't. And today it doesn't want to light. So I'm just going to go ahead and why is this not? Oh, this has no fluid in it. That would explain a lot. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and light this one. It's going to take a while for these to come to a boil. It's going to take about 15 minutes for these to come up to a boil. So I'm going to stop the camera, let these come to a boil. We're going to boil our shells, and then I'm going to show you what the next step is going to be.